Hello and welcome to my horror trailer presentation. My name is Daniel and I'm an A2 Media Studies student. I have selected two film trailers to analyse, of which are both horror films. The film trailers that I will be analysing are The House at the End of the Street and Insidious. Both of these films were released in the year 2012. The House at the End of the Street is a horror film filmed in America. I know this as the age certificate that is displayed at the beginning of the film is PG-13. In the UK, this is equivalent to a 12A age rating. It is illegal for film trailers not to have the age rating of the film before the trailer is played. The trailer then progresses onto showing its film producers, but in the background the soundtrack of the trailer has begun. Once the trailer begins, parts of the storyline gets revealed, but not all of it, as the aim of the trailer is to try and entice an audience to go and see the film. Insidious is the second film trailer that I will be discussing about. Once again, the first image that is displayed in the trailer is the age certificate screen. This creation has been published by MPAA, who are the Motion Picture Association of America. They are the American company that give films age ratings based on how violent or sexual the film is. The House at the End of the Street is a horror film, and there are many reasons for this. The first is quite frankly the sounds and the camera angles that are used within the trailer. When the trailer is showing a horror scene, the soundtrack will either speed up or completely stop, which creates huge amounts of suspense. Also, the close-up of the shots of the characters, reaction shots, also make the trailer fit the horror criteria. The codes and conventions have been used in a good standard in the film trailer, as it comes across as a horror trailer in the first viewing, just like my second film I am analysing. There is no questioning that these are not horror films. Also, another key aspect of the film trailer is the fade to black effect, which has been placed for special effects to join up the scenes up. The film is set in two houses situated in the woods, which fit the conventions of a horror film with its horror setting. The character that turns out to have a psychopathic problem in the film is shown as a nice and caring individual in the beginning. But then when the music changes tempo, it shows the evil side to him. Lots of horror film trailers have typography in the middle of the trailer to try and scare the audience and create the tension. Insidious tends to focus more on the demons within a person, and it is in the psychological genre compared to The House at the End of the Street. More or less of the same codes and conventions are represented with this film as the other, as they both are horror. The film trailer doesn't exactly have an introduction like the first film trailer that I analysed. It goes straight into the storyline. The film was a lot more successful than the first one due to the directors and the producers of the film, because it was created from the makers of Paranormal Activity and Saw, which are two very successful films. The typography within The House at the End of the Street acts like a narration. The font and colour of the typography reflects the idea of the film and its purpose to target the audience. There are 5 pieces of typography, one of them reflecting the release date of the film, but the others are little caption lines that attract the audience along with the non-diegetic sound of a heartbeat, which creates excitement. The star in the film is Jennifer Lawrence, who recently starred in a successful film as The Hunger Games. Close-ups of the characters have been used in the trailer along with fast editing to generate interest in the film and not make it boring. Insidious starts off with typography within the atmosphere. All of a sudden, it attracts the audience as it plays with their mind. The graphics of the film are very sharp, displaying lots of clips that have happened throughout the trailer, one after another. This creates very fast and an eye-opening trailer. The trailer doesn't hold back from showing the horror parts of the film, as its purpose is a horror film and it wants to scare the audience. Although the initial idea of the film trailer isn't meant to reveal the whole storyline, it does in fact reveal the basics of what happens, which allows the audience to decide whether to watch the whole film or not. From the trailer of The House at the End of the Street, you are able to figure out who the main characters are and their names, although there is a mystery behind the plot. After I viewed the trailer, I particularly enjoyed it This was one of the reasons why I watched the whole film, as the trailer showed briefly the main parts of the film in chronological order. There are significant moments within the film trailer, especially at 40 seconds into the trailer, where there is a flashback.
Why is Ryan Jacobson still living there?
What exactly happened there?
His parents were murdered, and his sister disappeared.
Do you hear something?
More or less of the characters are displayed in the film trailer. There is not a very big cast for the filmmaking. It is a lot more personal, and it also shows that a low budget was given to create the film. The narration used within the Insidious film trailer is kept to a minimal amount, as the sound, camera and editing are the main source to the trailer. There is not a lot of dialogue that occurs in the trailer compared to The House at the End of the Street. The characters within the film are very similar, as both are horror films, and it is conventional that the main action of the storyline happens within the house. Unlike the other genres of films, for example comedies, you tend to get huge families that go out, and there are a lot more characters within the film. It is hard to pick out certain points within the trailer, as so much happens at once. This trailer definitely stands out from the lots of other horror film trailers that many others that I have seen. The enigma that is used within The House at the End of the Street is very intense, as the audience are left with a puzzle to figure out. There isn't any accolades used, which is a personal choice from the director. Enigma is presented in almost every horror film trailer, because it is the way to attract specific audiences, as the enigma in The House at the End of the Street may have only a small enigma compared to the Insidious. However, the film trailer still leaves the audience with a question. However, Insidious shows accolades within the trailer, of which are of the filmmakers who also filmed Paranormal Activity and the Saw series. This is displayed in the typography within the film trailer. Once the film was released in the US, reviews and videos were all released all over the globe. This included reactions of people who have viewed the film. One of the reasons behind this technique was to persuade people to go and watch the film, as it is a very scary film. There are lots of films that are now being released that even claim to be the horror genre, even though it actually isn't horror. The trailer leaves the viewer thinking what happens next. That also makes them want to go and see the film in the cinema or buy it on DVD. The beginning of The House at the End of the Street film trailer is a lot calmer compared to Insidious, which allows a slow pace editing and scene changes. Towards the ending of the film trailers, they both are very similar with the camera shots, as they all capture close-ups and extreme close-ups. Lots of low-key lighting has been used within this trailer, along with the Insidious trailer, as horror films are often dull and dark, which creates the suspense within the trailer. The colours are often the same as well due to the conventional scheme of the dark and reddish colours. This is more on typography in order to create a certain effect to inform but also keep the horror look. Laura Mulvey came up with the male gaze theory, which explained that because of the people behind the cameras are men, they have a male gaze, which the camera goes up and down viewing the whole body of the female character as it is in the male's perspective. The film trailer of Insidious is very fast moving, with quick cuts throughout. Lots of different various camera angles have been used, which fit exactly the conventions of horror trailers. The information passed through the trailer is in a very fast speed, requiring the audience to focus on entirely what they are watching and listening to, as great suspense is created. Lots and lots of camera angles and movements have been used in this film trailer compared to the other film trailer that I'm analysing, because this film has been filmed by experienced horror film makers, which automatically puts it's high in the horror film rankings. The key characters have been highlighted within the film trailer as their names are mentioned. Wide-angle shots have been used quite frequently to display the whole room and the characters that are in the room. The sound used within the house at the end of the street trailer has a great deal of influence of emotion.
I'm looking for Alyssa. Is she here?
No, ma'am.
What are you?
And it does in fact create a specific type of atmosphere which leads the audience to believe the film actually has a relaxed approach, while a slow, calm soundtrack is being played. However, halfway through the trailer, the soundtrack and dialogue turns into a stereotypical horror film trailer with loud sound effects, with the change of tone in the characters' voices. Non-diegetic sounds have been used as well as diegetic sounds in order to create a real atmosphere as well as a false one. The rain used in the trailer is almost conventional, as it happens in quite a lot of horror films. Although Insidious is a more serious horror film, the horror diegetic sounds begin straight away, unlike the other horror films that I am analysing. More of the story is released through clips rather than dialogue. Both of these films have their own soundtrack, which involve songs specifically chosen and put together in a playlist, and used throughout the whole film. These are then sold to the general public on the film's website. In conclusion, I rate these two horror films very highly. The trailers are used to generate interest in the film by not giving too much of the plot away.